Hi, I'm Dave Moody, host of SiriusXM Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, and you're listening to Jack Arut's Wind Tunnel.
The Wind Tunnel with Jack Arut. No spin, no bull, all Jack. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.
Here is your host, Jack Arut.
Hey there, it's nice to have you back inside Jack Arut's Wind Tunnel, presented by Advance Auto Parts. You know, I've been humbled by the podcasting world's response to my first episode, and thank each and every one of you for downloading it and also for spreading the word to your friends. As you listen to this podcast, the 2021 NASCAR season has already kicked off. Speed Weeks in Daytona well underway. The Busch Clash taking place for the first time on Daytona's famous road course. And the twin qualifying races, well, they take the green flag later this week. The trucks and NASCAR's Xfinity Series are the opening acts for Sunday's running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Meanwhile, the Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series continues just about 10 miles away from that super speedway that Bill France built, as the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing mixes late models and tour-type modifieds nightly at the new Smyrna Speedway. The NTT IndyCar Series, well, they're putting the final touches on their 2021 campaign, and teams, they're shaking down their stuff and getting ready for their season opener at Barber Motorsports Park in April. So let's get you up to speed as we bring you this week's News and Notes.
Having Hinch back in the family's been great. You know, he did a few races for us last year, but, you know, it was like having him come back home and just gets along with everybody.
That was Michael Andretti announcing that after filling in at the end of the 2020 IndyCar season, James Hinchcliffe will join Ryan Hunter-Reay and Alexander Rossi under the Andretti Autosport banner this season.
We always said we'd get the band back together, and you know, we did like a little reunion tour last year, but now we're fully back together. So for me, with Genesis on board and being with Andretti Autosport, it's just incredible.
In the NASCAR world, Advance Auto Parts has extended their partnership with Team Penske's Ryan Blaney and will also add their CarQuest brand to Austin Cindric's Xfinity Mustang. Here's Advance Auto Parts Executive Vice President Jason McDonald.
Last year we started with Ryan Blaney sponsoring his number 12 Ford Mustang, and he had a great season last year, and we're looking forward to a really good one this year. And one of his first big races we're at, Jack, for both you and I, is going to be the dirt race at Bristol, that he's going to be wearing the Advanced Auto Parts colors there. We're also partnering with Austin Cindric as Austin continues on his back-to-back year of championship with Austin Cindric with our CarQuest brand.
When Felix Albuquerque, Helio Castroneves, Ricky Taylor, and Indy 500 champion Alexander Rossi took the checkered flag in the Rolex 24 at Daytona, it marked the third consecutive Rolex 24 victory for Wayne Taylor Racing. Here's IndyCar champion Alexander Rossi.
Had a lot of difficult times in the endurance races with Acura Team Penske, so to be able to come here with a new program, it's a huge testament to Wayne and his group of guys, and it's just unbelievable to think of what they did in such a short time.
Second went to the Allied Cadillac team that included Indy 500 champion Simon Pagenaud and 7-time NASCAR Cup champion Jimmie Johnson.
An amazing experience. You know, now these guys are really stepping it up and showing what they have. And I really appreciate every lap that I've had out there. I'm learning so much with each lap that I make.
By the way, you'll be hearing from Johnson later as he and his Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon drop in to talk about their pairing at Chip Ganassi's IndyCar operation this season. And that's this week's News and Notes. So today our show includes two champions, Jimmie Johnson and Scott Dixon, who account for 13 national titles and are teamed up at Chip Ganassi's Indy operation for 2021. We'll check in with my old friend A.J. Allmendinger, co-host of IndyCar's weekly series called Brick by Brick on Sirius XM Radio, as the Dinger is about to jump back into the deep end of the pool and chase for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship as a primary driver for Matt Kaulig and Chris Rice at Kaulig Racing. But up next, you'll meet a 16-year-old who aced her driver's test. But then again, That's not surprising when you learn that she's been racing cars since the age of 5.
Isabella Robusto is one of the youngest up-and-coming female drivers in NASCAR.
I kind of have a target on my back because most guys out there don't want to be beat by me, so they try extra hard and to get by me.
All that, and of course,
Malcolm!
Time to see what you got!
So it's time to crank up the wind tunnel. We'll be back and underway right after this.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participate in CarQuest locations. See store for details.
No spin, no bull, all Jack. The Wind Tunnel with Jack Root.
I'm Kyle Rickey from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. They are the foundation of American motorsports, the launching pad for racing's future. Time now for the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, driving local racing and local communities forward.
Well, in this week's episode of the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap, I can't think of a better person to take center stage than someone that just recently got her driver's license, despite the fact that for over a decade, she's been turning left and right in race cars. Isabella Robusto joins us right now from her home in Fort Mill, South Carolina. And Isabella, first of all, congratulations on getting your license. How'd the driving test go?
Thank you. I got a perfect score, so it wasn't that bad. I thought it was pretty easy. Most of my friends thought it was hard, but I don't know. It was easier for me for some reason.
You and your twin brother started out racing karts. Where did that bug first start to hit you at the age of 5?
Yeah, when we were 5, my dad and my grandpa took my twin brother and I out to a go-kart track and just kind of let us go and have fun. He said the first couple times were a little rough. I don't believe him, but it's whatever he says. But ever since I've been from a go-kart to a legend car and now late models, I've just had this, feeling and like this love for racing. And it's my passion and I love doing it.
Was there anybody that you wanted to pattern your career after?
When I first started, I definitely looked up to Danica Patrick and just like everything and that she's been able to do for just females in racing and to show that they can get to the top level. But now I've started to look more towards Jimmie Johnson just to see what he's been able to do inside of the sport, from all the championships and awards that he's won, but also everything that he's done outside of the sport, from like all of his charity work and just all of the fitness stuff that he's been able to accomplish as well. Just amazes me. So I look up to Jimmie Johnson and Danica Patrick, both of them, and just kind of base what I hope to be when I grow up in NASCAR.
Tell me a little bit about Rev Racing and tell me a little bit about this Max Siegel Chevrolet that you're going to be wheeling in the late model ranks.
Yeah, so this year's going to be a Chevy. It's going to be new for me. First time I'll be driving a Chevy, so I hope that's going to work out good. We can get some wins. But Rev Racing's goal is to just get minorities into the sport of NASCAR in different ways, from helping them with the physical side, with physical fitness, working out, eating healthy, just getting kind of your body and mindset ready for when you're out on the track. They help with media stuff, kind of like getting podcasts and different type things worked out, help with my like answers to questions, all that type of stuff. And then also like the on track stuff. So learning about the car in the garage. I try to go up to the shop as much as I can between school and other sports, just to learn as much as I can about the car, and get it ready for the next week's race. And then when we're at the track, just getting as much information and learning as much as I can every time I'm out on the track, so that every time I go back, I'll be better and better. So
So making the transition to the full-bodied stock car, which with a longer wheelbase than what you're used to in the Inex Legends cars, I wonder what was the biggest surprise or what was the biggest challenge for you?
Yeah, the biggest challenge, I would say, first off, what helped me a lot with legend cars was just kind of like not really getting the shift pattern because they're both different shift patterns, but just knowing when to shift and what kind of like the sound the car makes when you need to know how to shift. It helped me a lot. But I would say the most complicated part, or what took me the longest to learn, was to figure out how much space there was on the right side of the car because I've always had like center seat cars, or they're always like offset like 2 or 3 inches. It's not like a whole 3 feet like the late models are. So that took me a while to get used to. I scrubbed the wall a couple times, trying to figure out kind of where that boundary was. But I would say the biggest and like hardest part is figuring out where the car is, the surroundings, but then also knowing the changes because they're similar, but they're different. And every time we go to a new track, I always learn something new about the car, like what changes I could do to help the car, what change we made that hurt the car during the race. And um, the last thing I would say is probably the new tires. Other than go-karts, I really never had a car where we changed tires like multiple times in a day. And we went out and qualified on new tires. And it had been a while since I've done it in go-karts. So it's taken me some time to get used to what that feeling is and how to get used to the new tires when we first go out on the track. But last year, spent a lot of time learning. I got better finally at the end of the year. I wouldn't say great, but I got okay at qualifying. So happy about that. And I learned a lot.
So how important is your crew chief, Glenn Parker?
He's very important. He helps me a lot with just all of the changes that I want the car to do. I'll tell him one thing and I might make a suggestion or something, but then he'll do whatever he thinks because he's been in it longer than I have, and he knows my car and all of the rev cars. So he can help get my car how I want it so that I can end up doing good in the races, having fast time and being competitive. So really thankful for him. And he also helps me a lot with just figuring out new racetracks that we go to.
What are you going to call your home track in the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series in 2021?
I'm going to say that Hickory is my home track. So
It's very, very difficult to pursue an auto racing career without having to sacrifice an awful lot of things that your peers would be embracing and enjoying. Has it been tough to balance it?
Well, the main thing that I try to focus on is school. School's super important to me, just making sure I have good grades and I'm learning and doing the best that I can in it. And thankfully, my principals and teachers have been really helpful and kind of work with my schedule. So whenever I go on long breaks for races, they can always give me my work early, or I can plan when I'm going to make it all up, which that helps with school. But then on the sports side of things, I also do track and field. And so it's kind of hard to balance track and field and racing at the same time. But I make it work. I talk with Rev, and all the guys at Rev help me as well. But I think that the track and field helps me stay fit while I'm during race season. So I think it's a win-win situation. I get to do track and field and hang out with my friends and stay at school after school. And then on the days I'm racing, I'm focused on racing and do whatever I need to do for that.
So how do they look at what you're pursuing in the auto racing industry?
They think it's cool. I don't think most people understand exactly. They're kind of like, oh, you just turn left and you go fast and all that stuff. But they don't really get everything that goes into a race and how much preparation and all that you have to do before you even show up to the racetrack. But they think it's cool. Most of my friends, I've only had like 2 or 3 that have actually come watch me race before, so they get it. But everyone else is kind of like, oh, that's cool.
What's family life in the Robusto household like?
Competition is the main word. Everything is competition in our house. It does not matter if it's who finishes their homework first, who has the better grade, who does their chores first. It could be anything. It's always a competition here, definitely between my brother and I.
tell me about your shoe collection and specifically your focus on sneakers.
So I'd say about 2 or 3 years ago, I started falling in love with just collecting shoes. I have definitely gone all shoe right now. My mom and dad don't really understand it, but I don't know. It's just something about tennis shoes I like. From like, it can be Jordans or Yeezys or Pharrells. Like, it can be any type of tennis shoe, but there's something about it.
What's your go-to shoe?
My go-to shoe has to be a Yeezy Boost 350. I don't know. I just like them. They're so comfortable too.
Well, you realize as you continue to climb up the ladder, there is a likelihood that you might run into a guy that has, well, put out some pretty nifty tennis type shoes. Michael Jordan. Have you tried to network yet to maybe get on the inside and join Denny Hamlin when MJ decides to issue another edition of the Jordan line?
I was so happy when I heard that Jordan was coming into NASCAR, and I was like, if I get into Cup, that's the team I'm going for. I just want one of my bosses to be Michael Jordan. I just think that would be so cool. I get to do it. I love racing. And then I'd also have Michael Jordan as one of my bosses. So I think that's really cool. Hopefully I'll drive for him one day and he can sign a pair of my shoes. So
listen, it's been a lot of fun. Good luck this season, and we do appreciate your being part of our Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap segment here on the Wind Tunnel. Wish you, your brother, and your entire family nothing but continued success in 2021.
Thank you.
Be sure to join us again next week for another trip to racing's grassroots with the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, advancing the next generation of drivers and champions. I'm Kyle Rickey from the Motor Racing Network.
We're hitting the brakes, but we'll be back on track after this. Next.
Jimmie Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship. Dixon is a 6-time IndyCar champion.
I never doubted it. Not with you guys. What a team. Well done. Well done. This is all you guys. Thank you.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
No spin, no bull, all Jack. The Wind Tunnel with Jackaroot.
Now, together, they've amassed a total of 13 championships in both NASCAR's Cup Series and the NTT IndyCar Series. They have between them a total of 133 victories at their sport's highest level. And in 2021, their teammates at Chip Ganassi's NTT IndyCar operation. Scott Dixon, Jimmie Johnson, welcome to the Wind Tunnel.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get right down to it. I mean, you two are probably considered the creme de la creme in your respective sports, but I've asked you this before, Jimmie, what in God's name has motivated you to jump into another deep-ended pool by deciding to put it all on the line as a teammate to Dixon in the NTT IndyCar Series?
Yeah, I mean, there are many layers to it, but really the most basic one is I always wanted to be an IndyCar racer as a kid growing up. You know, the time I spent racing dirt bikes and off-road trucks in Southern California, I was able to watch the Mears family, Robbie Gordon, many others kind of pursue the off-road route to Trans Am, Indy Lights, and then ultimately IndyCar. The Arciero family was in the IndyCar series. Cal Wells was with PPI, and he raced in the off-road Stadium Desert Series. So honestly, it was really my dream. And as I got to an interesting fork in the road in my Cup career, I thought, man, I really want a new challenge. And I had a chance to drive a Formula One car when I switched cars with Alonso for the day. And that kind of started the notion. And then after, probably a good year and a half or 2 years of working on it, great friends like Scott helping me kind of find my path. And obviously I've ended up at Ganassi. But regardless of where I was going to end up, Scott's been a great friend to kind of help me kind of make the right decisions and understand what I'm getting myself into here. So here we are.
So Scott, let me ask you the question. What do you think the best advice you were able to give to Jimmie Johnson about making that sort of a move?
It's definitely something that's very challenging. I couldn't imagine myself trying to, switch from a IndyCar to a NASCAR. I think they're definitely the polar, opposite ends of the scale on any kind of reading, which is, I think Jimmie has definitely seen. But I think for him, it's definitely been an exciting transition. But the most difficult part, I think, is trying to really unlearn everything you've learned in your past. I think that's the biggest thing, is you really can't rely on too much on what you've done and where he's been so successful for so many years. So it's definitely more of a clean slate. Really looking forward to actually doing some tests together where we actually can look at data and work together, because I've only been able to join him at a couple of options where it's been just Jimmie running. To see it that way. So definitely looking forward to the upcoming season and being able to relate and see, what are the biggest areas for, gains. And I think, there'll be some, maybe whether it's in the braking or just the rolling of the corner or the high speed stuff too. So, he's gonna have to learn really fast. But his attention to detail and just his work ethic has been really cool to see so far.
Jimmie, when was the last time that you found yourself having to, using the cliche, drink out of a fire hydrant the way you've had to in the off season and preparing for your NTT IndyCar debut?
Yeah, I mean, I've been busy and certainly have had plenty of challenges along the way. Different generations of cars that come along, different rules, tires, things like that. But as Scott was just pointing out, all these habits that I've learned from an IndyCar and the muscle memory I have and the mental memory that I have, I'm trying to forget all of that. And within reason, I mean, yeah, it's a car, but the way you use the brakes, certainly the braking zone's a lot shorter. The way you kind of throw the car to turn, my senses are not familiar with that or used to that. And then the power down, the cars have been very tricky for me so far with power down. In a NASCAR vehicle, you're to the throttle really early and you get the rear tires kind of moving and rolling for you. And the suspension really absorbs a lot of the power down requirements. Where these Indy cars and open wheel cars, if you have any steering lock in the car and that turbo kicks in, you're around. And I've spun out way too many times already just trying to adapt to that. So, to summarize, I just have to push the corner further around in a lot of respects. So, I've been trying to drive anything that I can, from the simulator to F3 cars. We have some IndyCar testing finally coming up. So I'm doing all that I can to try to rewire my brain and my senses right now.
I want to step away for just a second as we continue our conversation here in the wind tunnel with both Scott Dixon and Jimmie Johnson, because you two, as you alluded to, Jimmie, and as you reinforced, Scott, have had a friendship for a long time, but you share a commonality as well. And that's you've got some young kids, and you're at a point in your career where I think both of you have really tried to protect and enjoy those precious moments that only get fewer and fewer as you chase what has become your profession. 2 daughters for you, Jimmie. All of a sudden, they're into horses. I know, Dixie, your kids are into horses as well. In addition to try and look at the data and figure out what's the fast way around in an IndyCar, how much have you two commiserated on what your kids are doing with their goals and objectives? And you know what I'm talking about. An equestrian pursuit is not for the financially faint of heart.
Well, I'm pushing Scott to be the team owner, to own all the horses and lease or rent from there.
we chatted about it a little bit actually the other day, and I haven't gone down the road as far as Jimmie has with his girls. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think, still at our stage, we're still trying a bit of everything at the minute to see what kind of sticks, and definitely with one of our girls, the passion has been riding. So I think we'll definitely go down that road. But yeah, it's I don't know. I was going to ask Jimmie if I could borrow a couple of his horses, and see what he has to say.
Yeah, I have, my oldest is totally into it. So like Scott has done with his family, we keep presenting things to our kids to see what interests them the most. And my oldest, for sure, this is her thing, at least right now. And it's my competitive spirit kicks in. So I've ended up with a few more animals than I had anticipated to start with. So we're definitely head first right now. And it's been a great thing to use for our kids to keep motivated. I remember how my dad used racing for me to keep me motivated, my grades up and all that. So, of course the kids are earning their opportunity. I'm doing a great job with it.
Scott, I just, as a former person that had a lot of horses and had a little bit of that type of taste in a previous life, I'm going to echo what Jimmie has said, and I'm going to go where Jimmie doesn't want to go. Get ready, because it's just begun for you, Dixie.
I might tap out. We'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about the dynamic. Chip has put together, I think, a pretty potent team. Jimmie, you're going to run the road courses, and then TK is going to jump into the cockpit for the ovals, and then you add your other teammates that are going to be on board. I'll start with you, Scott. Do you think that Chip Ganassi Racing is the number one chair and the favorite going into the opener in Alabama coming up?
I think there's always lots of favorites, whether it's I think Chip Ganassi Racing as a whole, as a team, is always one of the favorites. Chip's, track record of, championships, not just in IndyCar racing, but, sports car and Indy 500s and things like that, are definitely pretty stout, So, I'd like to think we're going in as favorites. We're going in as defending champions. Obviously, lots of changes in the off season with personnel, even drivers, addition of 3 different drivers from last season, so there is going to be a little bit of time, I think, to make sure that gels as quick as possible. But I think we do have a really good system of trying to correlate, between the drivers and understanding, who needs what. And plus, the depth that the team has as far as personnel. So, we want to go back to back, in championships here. And as a team, I think we have the capability of it. We'll just have to see, where some of our weaknesses are.
Jimmie, it's one thing to decide to check something off on the bucket list. It's another thing to team up with a potent and pretty respectable operation like you have chosen to do. You said it before, the competitive nature burns really deep in anybody that tries to do what you or Dixie have done. How much do you have to guard against maybe you being hard or too hard on yourself as you start to acquire the skill set?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's easy now. I haven't been to a proper race, and the timing and scoring hasn't been on, and, all those competitive things that swirl through your mind. But, I'm trying to keep this in the right headspace, and I'm surrounded by people that one are truly amazing at what they do in the IndyCar series, and people that really want to see me grow and learn. And I think we're all geared up for this journey together. And then, of course, on track is what we all pay attention to, and what those results are. And I want to see marked improvement week in and week out. And of course, be in the thick of things and competing for wins. But I also know that with my experience in racing, I can help the team in a lot of ways. And I'm trying to understand what that is and how I can help. And I'm also very aware that I can help the IndyCar series as a whole, and coming over and trying to race in the series and the attention I bring. So not only am I wearing my, competitor hat, but I also, with age, know that there's more going on than that. And I want to be a great ambassador for the sport, for Ganassi Racing, for my sponsors in Carvana and NTT, be a great team leader, be a teammate, a friend, all those things. So it's more than just what we see on Sunday afternoons when we put the cars on the truck. I think I can offer a lot more than that.
Listen, you two, nothing but the very best. Appreciate your spending a little time with us here on the wind tunnel. And Scott, you realize if you do go back to back, we can start calling you 7-time as well as Jimmie.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a little bit of fun. I don't know how to do it, obviously, so there's definitely some room for improvement. I've never done it before, and as for the team, I hope at least one of us can go back-to-back champions for the chip.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Would you like to be part of these Wind Tunnel podcasts? Well, guess what? You can. Email us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or better yet, call our hotline at 413-566-6206 and record your comments and questions. By the way, you can also post on our website, jackarootswindtunnel.com.
AJ had a big moment running the bottom. Had to get out of the gas in the middle of NASCAR 3 and 4.
He's going to see the white flag here. One more time around for A.J. Allmendinger.
Okay, give me a deep breath here. Give me a deep breath. One more good one, man.
On
No
a dry
pressure.
roval,
No
I would say this is A.J. Allmendinger's race. On pouring down rain, nothing is guaranteed.
One more
15
time.
back, no mistakes.
Through the front chicane, A.J. Allmendinger will win at the Charlotte Roval.
I am very, very pleased to welcome into the wind tunnel a fellow that has had success both in IndyCar and in NASCAR, but more importantly, has to put up with me each and every week during the NTT IndyCar series as my co-host with Brick by Brick. We're talking about A.J. Allmendinger. Dinger, hope the offseason's been well for you, and it's good to reconnect.
Yeah, it's been going well. I thought it was a great idea to take my semi-retired life and turn it into a possible 40-race season this year. So just preparing for that. You know how it always is. It's like you go kind of through December, everything slows down, Christmas and New Year's, and all of a sudden it's like a week after New Year's, it's go time and it's packed. So ready to get going.
What in God's name possessed you to jump back into the deep end of the pool?
It was simple. My golf game was going to hell, and I was like more miserable playing golf every day because I was really struggling. So I was like, I got to go racing again. This isn't helping my golf game. No, but in all honesty, it really came down to the men and women at Kaulig Racing. I just, over the 2 years that I have spent there running, I think it was 5 races in 2019. We happened to actually do 11 races last year. I just really enjoyed it. And, when you're competitive, it's fun to show up to the racetrack every weekend. And it's still a team that is building. It's only going to be its 6th year in existence. So there's still a lot of growth. And that's something that I've really found that to enjoy is the fact that I'm part of that. And I like trying to help make the team grow. I love Matt Kaulig as the team owner. He's such a positive person, fun to be around. Chris Rice, which is the team president and competition director, the same feel. And it just kind of trickles down through the team. It's just a good energy. And I really enjoyed it. And it was something kind of middle of last year. I thought as we started talking about, okay, maybe there's a opportunity full time. I thought, do I want to do it? I mean, it's a grind when you do it every weekend. It's nice when you have a bad weekend, you can take a month off and kind of just relax. But I just really thought about how much I enjoy being around the team every weekend. And, quite honestly, Jack, right now, these one kind of weekends where you show up and you don't practice and you drop the green, we're going to have really, I think, all but 8 races are that schedule. Yeah, I mean, you still got to be focused and go to the shop during the week and meetings, et cetera, maybe sim work, but you're not there for 4 days anymore. We show up, we drop the green, and we make it happen. And even when you don't, especially in the Xfinity series, it's a Friday, Saturday thing in your home. So that makes the schedule a little bit better.
You know, during my course of time on the SiriusXM NASCAR channel, I've kind of mused about this. I think I've exchanged it with you. When NASCAR created the triple tier, starting with the Camping World Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and then the Ultimate, the Cup Series, you can kind of classify the Truck Series as the entry portal, and the Cup Series is the ultimate goal. How do you refer to the Xfinity Series? Because you've got some that are on the way up, and I'm not going to say others that are on the way down, but others, in your classic case in point, that find a home there. How do you classify it?
The Truck Series and the Xfinity Series are made for the young drivers to try to move forward to the Cup Series. And we keep seeing that time in and time out. You know, just recently when you got guys like Eric Jones and Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, we just saw the rookie class that the Cup Series had. I mean, it is a proving ground to move these young drivers up to Cup. But the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series is always, to me, also been a place for certain guys that can kind of sit there. I mean, look at Todd Bodine. I mean, He made a career. Yeah, he was great when he ran the Xfinity Series and dabbled a little bit in the Cup Series. But really, you know, his name was made in the Truck Series. You look at a guy recently now like Matt Crafton in the Truck Series. So, you know, you can find a home if it's the right organization. And for me, it's not about, oh, you know, I'm going to make a home for the next several years in the Xfinity Series. It's just that I like being a part of Kaulig Racing, and I want to try to help them and do my best to help them grow, because the plan truly is for them is to try to move into full-time Cup racing in 22. And if I can just help be a part of that, and I enjoy being a part of the organization, and, you know, wherever that takes me, it takes me. I'm 39 years old now. I don't have to look, oh my God, what's my next move next year? Already thinking about, you know, 22 and 23 and beyond. I don't care. You know, I'm just going to go enjoy racing for the year.
You know, you touched upon something that I think does come with age and experience, and that is that attitude of, you know, I don't have to continue to plot and plan, you know, 1-year plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans. And that seems to me, as I've observed it, to increase the fun factor and also create a different sort of satisfaction for drivers. And for AJ Allmendinger, the fact that you were able to step away and the fact that you were able to observe it from maybe 40,000 feet above and say, if, and now you are going back into it, I can approach it a little bit differently. Are you going to?
I've signed a contract that I have to, because Chris Rice told me, and my wife Tara made a deal with him too, that she was going to stay on top of it, that if it looks like it's a job, then we're done doing it like that. And that was the first rule he made for me, because he's seen me. I didn't know Chris Rice before Kaulig Racing, but he had watched me throughout my career, and he saw it on my face. He saw the daily struggles of the grind that I put on myself, so yeah, that's part of it. Sure. Am I gonna stress the night before and think about, okay, well, you know, I got to be at my best. I want to put this team on my back, and we want to go win races. And ultimately, if we win a championship, then great. But more importantly, I think it's about the process of the season and going out there and trying to improve and win races when we have the opportunities. But you know, mentally, yeah, I think that the daily side of it, for sure, I'm not going to stress constantly about, oh my God, if I lose my job, or what am I going to do? But sure, at the racetrack, no, I'm not going to change my mindset. I'm going to put all the pressure on myself. And I do that because I want to be at my best. The men and women that work there deserve the best of me. And I want to give it to them, because I see how hard they work. And the best way to show how much you appreciate it is go out there and be at your best, and ultimately try to win the race. So I'm always going to put that on myself. But sure, the what happens after this, oh my God, you know, if this isn't going well, like, no, it'll be fine. Like I'll be okay. And I signed a contract that says I have to be okay.
And you have a wife that'll make damn sure that it is
sure.
okay. Yeah,
she said she doesn't want me to go back to old AJ, so I have to be like that.
We're talking to AJ Allmendinger, who's about to embark on a full campaign for Kaulig Racing in the Xfinity Series right here on the Wind Tunnel. So, AJ, you referenced Matt Kaulig and Chris Rice and the way that they have built, a team from very small beginnings. I mean, let's face it, their race shop was a converted go-kart facility, shop on campus at Richard Childress Racing. As you've watched it grow, what do you think the strong assets are with that team that not only excite you, but more importantly, paint a very, very productive and successful picture when they do move in 2022, with fingers crossed, into the ultimate, and that's the Cup Series?
Well, I think just the way they've went about not growing too fast. We see so many times teams try to move to multiple cars before they're really truly ready. And when I got there, they'd been a single car team the whole time, but for the first really 4 years. And when I showed up, they were doing really a part-time, okay, we're going to run a second car with, Elliott Sadler ran it, and Ross Chastain did some races. I think Austin Dillon even ran a race or two. And they asked me to come do the road courses and ultimately run some of the speedway stuff. I said, okay, sure. And then, that second car went fairly well throughout the course of the year, not with just me in it, but, with Ross running really well. So because of that and the sponsorship dollars there, they moved to 2 cars last year, and I became the part-time third car. And that was the really thing that I saw in talking to Chris Rice, especially. I said, I don't want to move full-time as a third car if it's going to hurt this team every weekend. Sure, it's easy to get the cars prepped a couple of weeks out when all right, AJ's going to go run such and such race. But when you have to do it every weekend, I didn't want to hurt the growth of the team in that way. And he said no. And I see it because they have the right amount of people there and they have the growth. And that's what I think, they're going to run a part-time Cup schedule this year when it comes to some speedway races. And we've been talking about maybe the road course stuff. So we're working on that. But it's just kind of easing into it and then being ready the following year when the new car comes out. So I think it's just the being methodical and the way they go about it. And because of that, it's helped grow the team. They hadn't won a race in 4 years, and then Ross won their first race. And then I was able to win at the Roval. Then last year we won 5 races between myself and Justin Haley. So it's that right methodical approach that hopefully we go out this year and as a team with Jeb Burton now as one of the drivers of the organization, hopefully we can win 8 to 10 races, but it's easier said than done.
You do realize that you are the elder statesman, which is hard to attach that to your name because you were so brash, outspoken, and take no prisoners throughout your career. But now with the roster of drivers at Kaulig Racing, you're the old guy.
Yeah, but I act like I'm 12. So I average out my real age with how I truly act. So I'm still like 17, really, I think is what it comes down to if you average that out.
Hey, before I let you go, I need an update on your 2 kids. First, the long-standing one that has his own Twitter account, your feline Mr. Tickles, and then of course last year's acquisition with I forget the pup's name.
Xena the
Xena.
French Bulldog.
Yeah. So how are they driving you and Tara crazy?
Well, they drive Tara crazy because they wake her up in the middle of the night when they want something. So I've trained them well. It's smart. They wake her up, make her get up, go do whatever they want, and then they crawl back into bed with me, and I stay sleeping. So it's nice. No, we did a trip to Hilton Head, so it was a family trip, and then Xena's first time finally going to a racetrack is going to happen. So, we got a big road trip coming up for the family here. So all good in this life.
What did Xena and Mr. Tickles have to say about your decision to go full-time back into NASCAR?
They just said they want me to make enough money that they get more treats. That's all they want. That was their big thing. It was like treats. That's it.
It's a pretty simple life for Xena and Mr. Tickles. Hey, listen, AJ, it's always a pleasure. Couldn't be happier for you. You can see the smile on your face. You can hear it in your voice. And that generally telegraphs that there's success on the horizon. and success that you will be able to enjoy with two folks that I agree with you are really outstanding. Chris Rice, who has talked you off the ledge several times. I've listened on the radio. And then Matt Kaulig, who finally, after several years, has now got to construct a trophy case because he's getting some.
Yeah, that's all about it. You know, he wants trophies. We go trophy hunting, and the guy deserves it. That's the fun thing, and that's probably the worst thing about the pandemic. One of many things is the fact that he hadn't been able to come to the racetrack a lot, and man, I miss that energy. He's got, well, first of all, he's an ex-quarterback, right? So he's got giant hands anyways, and then he wears these giant rings. He's got a bowl game ring when he was at Akron, and man, I don't miss it, but I do miss it when you get before the race or you win the race and he's in victory lane and he fist bump you with that giant ring and it feels like it breaks your hand. So I love driving for him, and that's the plan, going trophy hunting.
Appreciate it, my friend, and good luck in 2021.
Thanks, man.
We're hitting the brakes, but we'll be back on track after this.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Eddie! Mail call!
Time to see what you got!
Handling our mail call is social media influencer Jason Stacks. Okay, Jason, what have you got for me this week?
Greg in New Jersey writes, Jack, what changes to the 2021 IndyCar schedule are you looking forward to and why?
First off, Greg, thanks for the question. It's always fun to take your calls when I guest host and sit in for Pat Patterson on the front stretch on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Of course, I am looking forward to the Indy 500. I do every year. But there is one event that I have circled on the calendar. It's the inaugural Music City Grand Prix in Nashville on August 8th. What better place to mix an Indy race with a festival of music, celebrities, food, and, of course, fast cars. It's going to be a 2.17-mile layout that will go by the Tennessee Titans NFL home stadium, then pass over the Korean War Veterans Bridge, and then snake through downtown.
That's all we have time for today, Jack. A quick reminder that you can be a part of Mail Call by calling the Wind Tunnel hotline at 413-566-6206, emailing us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or posting your question on the website jackarootswindtunnel.com.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, be sure to check out Jason on TikTok at Jason Stacks and on his Instagram account, I am Jason Stacks. That's it for Mail Call. Well, it's time to bring to an end this episode of Jackaroots Wind Tunnel. Now, next week, we'll talk to the newest member of the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Cup team, Christopher Bell.
You know, I'm excited to not be the underdog anymore, get back to where I feel like I belong. And hopefully that's competing for wins and running up front and being a factor every week.
The 2019 IndyCar champion Joseph Newgarden stops by, and he'll share his secret nickname.
Because, another name I had been called was the Angel Assassin, which I kind of liked. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't mind that.
And our Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series Victory Lap will introduce you to a driver from Minnesota who took home the 2019 National Weekly Racing Series title, Jacob Getty.
We won the first one, and it all came down to that last 35 lap feature. And, I knew we had a good car, but still everything has to work out to get through traffic, and everything did.
Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. And as always, please pass the word on to your friends. Each week, we will send you a new episode, and each week we will focus on the heroes of the sport you love. I'm Jack Aroot, reminding you to look out for each other, and see you next week.
Today's trip to the Wind Tunnel was brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.